Hello. I don't think we've met before. My name is Professor Oak. Yes, I know I get plenty of jokes about Pokemon franchise, but it truly is Professor Oak. Welcome to your first day in the Magic Institution. Now, there are plenty of these all over the world, but this one, I dare say, is one of the best for the bright minds of tomorrow. So, tell me just a bit about yourself. Yeah. Alright, so your parents were who now? Okay, alright. I do believe I've heard of them before. And have you known magic before you came to my class, or is this more of a first try kind of thing? Alright. Okay. Alright, well, that's fantastic. So, parents didn't tell you very much, did they? Alright. Well, it's very simple, I guess I could say. The explanations behind it. So, all humans are tied to magic, though some have a more powerful bond than others. Every person has the ability to use it, but it's sometimes such a weak bond that any attempt to could almost kill a human. That's why most humans don't use it or don't even know that it exists. But for the special few, you included, that have a strong connection, they can expend some of their life force to use magic. Now, though that might sound dangerous, life force is something that can be replenished. You eat food, you drink, you replenish your health. That's why people are tired, though, after long spouts of magic, or an extremely powerful spell. Yes. And it's odd to say the least, our understanding of magic. It's simple, as, it's a finite well you can draw from, and after you've drawn from that well, if you attempt to exceed the amount, you end up dying. But we don't understand why. I mean, we've tried for years to be able to create an infinite source of magic, but it's just never worked out, and, yeah. I dare say that more wizards and witches have died from overexerting themselves than actual combat, or at one time, 16th century, we don't like to talk about that one. And yes, it's depressing, to say the least, that we can't figure out how to make our magic more useful. We always seem to run out. Yes, it's a consequence, I would say, of being part of this world, that you have to deal with the fact that you could overexert yourself one day and no longer be alive. And it's good to know that information, I assure you, but I don't suggest you dwell on it. Thousands of wizards have strengthened their bond so close to magic that they can tell their own life force, no need to worry about it. But if you dwell on it, it seems that you refuse to expend much more life force than you're able to. It's your body just straight out stops you. It's odd. It's a blocker in the mind. So even extremely powerful witches and wizards, they are stopped by themselves from creating magic that is better. And it's mostly to the fault of themselves. If they didn't think about the fact that they could die so much. It's different, I would say. Much. It's difficult. I shouldn't be getting into this with you. This is only your first day. So, mind asking, how would you end up in this institution? I know your parents slightly, but I know they're not part of this institution, at least. I don't necessarily know how they sent you here if they're not. Oh. I'm glad you stopped me. Really sorry for your loss. Yeah, so one of our seekers found you. Alright. Well, that puts a whole new perspective on this. Do you know what your parents were? Has anybody told you? No, they haven't. Well, I don't know if I'm the one to tell you this, but I am going to be the one to say it. Your parents weren't the best wizards in the world. It's not that they were bad at magic, it's that they were extremely good, but they didn't use the magic for good things or even neutral things. Almost all of their spells, I think we could lightly call them curses, might be a better word, have gone in a negative direction. They've risen extremely dark wizards from the dead, caused a lot of trouble for our community, almost exposed us, which would have been a fun story. I don't think humans would enjoy knowing the fact that a lot of them aren't as superior as they think they are. Yeah. And they're pretty much sub of some of us. But anyways, that's not the point. And they, more importantly, attempted to found their own magical institution, and I feel like something along the lines might have killed them, but they founded their own where they taught young wizards that they didn't need to be, I don't know how to put this, they didn't need to be responsible with their magic. They always used it. It's a fun thing. I mean, I agree. I definitely do things with magic that I would have to do on my own, but it's not just a toy. An example, I guess you probably want. In the early days, the magical institution, they went out and were seeking for new wizards, and they would always find them at the age of 2 to 3, and they'd take them back. I assume this before they had you, and they'd raise them, and then around the age of 8, they'd start teaching them magic. They had about 20 of these 8-year-olds, teaching them all different uses and powers of magic, and one day they tried to have them cast a spell. It was a combat spell, and all of them were casting at the same time, and it was an extremely high-leveled spell, and they... Well, let's say I was part of the group that went to go check on them, because we heard the explosion, and there were 20 skeletons we found. It depleted straight through their life force, and your parents, they didn't attempt to stop them or attempt to point out how irresponsible this was. They let them do it. And that's not the point. In the end, it's good that they aren't around anymore, and I'm sorry to say that because they are your parents. I mean, well, yes, I'm not going to treat you any differently just because you're a child, but I would appreciate if I knew the extent of your abilities. Good. Let's try 2 o'clock today. Meet me outside in the courtyard, and we'll see what exactly you can do. Does that sound good? Fantastic. Alright. Good day. I'll see you at 2.